night, we had the Knicks defeat the Cavs 99-79 in a slugfest, literally a slugfest. The Knicks held the Cleveland Cavaliers 32 points in the first half, really just being stifling defensively, really shutting things down to that point, and really just a throwback game to the 90s. There were missed threes. Everyone shot poorly. The free throws are terrible. Everybody shot poorly. It was just a slugfest. Bigs fighting for every inch. Guards fighting for every possession. Like, everything mattered in this game. And the Knicks were just able to cruise throughout this game. Jalen Brunson with 21-6, really powering them. RJ Barrett with a nice game with 19-8. Really just overpowering the Cleveland Cavaliers, who just their guards just couldn't get off tonight. And just a lack of intensity from the Cleveland Cavaliers on their side. But Jalen Brunson, of course, and RJ Barrett having good offensive game. Julius Randle had 11, I believe. But let's get into the defensive Josh Hart and Emmanuel Quickley. I did say that these guys can have an advantage there defensively with Quentin Grimes there. And I felt like that could have been an advantage to the Knicks heading into this series, especially with those two guys going at Garland, going at Donovan Mitchell. These guys are a little bit bigger than them, can wear them down, put their weight on them, switch, have a little bit better ability to switch there and really impact the game in that way. And they were able to do that, and they played intensely, both chipping in, scoring in double figures. I believe Josh Hart had 13. Emmanuel Quickley had 11. And in the game where you're thinking, hey, that's not a lot of points there. That's only 24 points between those two guys. How is that different from anything else? But the way they were playing defense overall as a team and really able to just short the possessions for the Cleveland Cavaliers, it was tough for Cleveland on the night, and the Knicks just powered them in that Garden crowd and really paid dividends for them. Moving on to the Cleveland side of things, they really didn't. Donovan Mitchell had an okay game, but they've really had a bad night from Garland and Levert. 11 from 38 from the field, shooting 28%. And I said that when you're not giving Donovan Mitchell help on that offensive side of the ball, it can be really difficult to score, especially with Cleveland, who plays at a slow pace. And when their bigs aren't high volume scorers, they're good around 15, 10 points a game right there, maybe a little bit more if they have a great night. But other than that, if those guys aren't scoring next to Donovan Mitchell, it's going to be a tough series. And especially when you're shooting 28% against the Knicks in the Garden, it's going to be a tough night. It's going to be a tough night for sure when you look at that. Like, it's really going to be tough. Like, I can't even think of a way that you can go into the Garden and not play well offensively and have a chance to win, especially when your main guard, Donovan Mitchell's he's only having an okay game. When you're not spreading the floor, you're not creating those opportunities to score for yourself and opening up the floor for him to be more dynamic, it's going to be tough for anybody to win in that Garden. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be tough. Moving on to the main thing I think is a big factor in this game. The bench scoring of Cleveland is just not there, non-existent, and it was never addressed. The three-point shooting was never addressed. They tried to get Garland Levert in the starting lineup and see if that was going to help. That was really their only card to play. Maybe Cedi Osman can be in that position at some point. But when you really do that, you're looking at this like you lose the bench battle 14-39. That's 25 points. You lost by 20. That's not a real good recipe for success, especially on the road. And I know it's only game 3, and I know that's I know it's only one game in the Garden. Of course, game 4 is still there. But to play that poorly, they have to figure it out. And this has been an issue towards the end of the season. People were like, why did you get rid of Kevin Love and all these other things? And maybe he was just wearing his time out there. Maybe he was run down. Maybe he was washed, whatever the case may be. They never addressed that situation for Cleveland. They addressed the guard play. They addressed the scoring. They needed a big guy that can get a playmaker. They did a little bit better than Atlanta in that situation, especially getting Donovan Mitchell, no question. But when you sit there and you look at the overall team, when you look at championship teams, when you look at contenders, not only do they have a good starting 5, they also have a couple bench guys that can contribute. And guys like Cedi Osman and Isaac Okoro and Ricky Rubio, those guys are nice, but you need a little bit more pop on that bench, especially right now. And again, I think Cleveland's 1 or 2 years away, but this is going to be a glaring issue. They're kind of like the Suns a little bit, not offensively, but just in terms of bench depth, right? Like their bench is a little bit better than Phoenix, but not enough to turn the tide, I think, in certain situations. And we saw tonight. When they're not available, when they're not hitting shots, when they're not helping their team, you lead to blowouts. It doesn't matter what the offensive does. Darius Garland and Garland Levert can shoot like crap all day. But when you don't have a bench that's able to come in and being able to contribute, it's going to be tough to win, for sure. It's going to be tough to win for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But the Knicks go up 2-1 in this series.